Good morning. We welcome you to another day of broadcasting activities. Cool FM is DZYW 99.5, a commercial radio station owned and operated by the TVH Group of Networks Incorporated with license number BST-0059-2023 REN 0862, authorized by the National Telecommunications Commission until December 22, 2026. The Cool FM studios are located at the TJON Building, Emerald Avenue, Ortigas Center, Pasig City, with transmitter at Antipolo City, operating under 99.5 MHz with a power of 50 kilowatts. 99.5 is maintained and operated by the following personnel, duly licensed by the Professional Regulation Commission and the National Telecommunications Commission. Michael Flores, PEC number 0023599. Edgar Bernardo, EC number 00. Fania, EC number 0044489. First class radio and telephone operators. Christopher L.R. Nice, 95-1PNCR-24771. Ernesto D. Manogid, 94-1PNCR-22552. And Samantha E. Fernandez, 2K-1PHN-16963. This is DZYW 99.5. Now signing on.
Lahat ng drama, lahat ng tawanan, lahat ng iyong all-time hits. Ang tanging huntahan ng Masang Ngamaw. Number 1 sa Mega Manila, nationwide pa. Broadcasting from TGON, TVH Group of Networks. Dito lang sa inyong iisang himpilan. Cool FM! Live from Cool Studios. This is koolNews Early Edition.
All right, good morning and welcome to koolNews Early Edition. Today is July 4th, 2024, and happy July 4th to all of you guys. So yeah, today is July 4th. So we'll be getting to the headlines what you might have missed from yesterday and today. So we will get into that as part of our early edition of koolNews. Okay, let's begin. All right, so let's go to our usual news source. Okay, where do we begin? All right, let's begin with the first headline. Victimized by a system breach is verifying reported cyber attack again launched against the Department of Foreign Affairs. Assistant Secretary Renato Paraiso of the ICT in an interview with the on Wednesday said they were monitoring the situation for now to confirm the cybersecurity incident. He added that they were also ready to provide assistance to the DFA. Cybersecurity group Deep Connect earlier reported that the actor identifying as Chang Yi allegedly stole sensitive email data now being sold online. Initial findings found out that the sample provided contained sensitive documents and part as confidential documents, it said. This report just came a day after the BICT's disaster risk reduction and division website was replaced by a hacker group. The DICT was able to regain control in less than an hour, but some of the employees were exploited during the attack as well. Authorities arrested a Vietnamese woman at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport on Monday for unruly behavior. In a segment on Wednesday, the Bureau of Immigration identified the woman as Van Thai Van, a 90-year-old Vietnamese who initially presented herself for a vacation clearance to board a Cebu Pacific Air flight to Hanoi. Upon inspection, however, the BI said Van aggressively sneaked or snatched her passport from the immigration officer and caused a scene where she threw herself on the floor and screamed. She reportedly screamed her outburst on social media and caused a disturbance in the immigration departure area, the Bureau reported. BI officers sought help from the Bureau's Border Control and Intelligence Unit, Airport Police, and the Philippine National Police Aviation Security Group to, to pacify them. She was later taken to the BI's head office in Romoros for proceedings and transferred to the agency's facility inside Camp Bangkong Diwa in Tampik City, pending her deportation. Except for aid from the Department of Social Welfare and Development and the local government, the Philippine government has not complied with the United Nations resolution the Malaya Lolas three grandmothers, who are now down from 96 to 18 members, as they struggle for justice for military sexual crimes committed on them during World War II. Senator Rizal Tiveros witness from the 80 survivors and the support group Kaisaka on Wednesday dialogue at the covered court of Barangay Mananiwi, a local village attacked by the Imperial British Japanese Army on November 23, 1944. At the dialogue, Maria Quilatang and Pilar Galang led the singing of the awit ng Malaya Lola that they composed in 1996 when they first made public the order. No applause what came from the audience as silence was heavy. Honduras held back tears but some were seen crying. Many of us are weak, sick, or bedridden. We didn't get aid from DOH or now the Department of Health. Perla Balingit Malaya Lola secretary told the senator. Most of them are now more than 90. Hearing the existence, hearing the extent of the national government's non-compliance with the March 8, 2023 resolution to enforce the UN Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, Honduras said the recommendations should be fast-tracked. When the Imperial Japanese Army attacked Barangay Mapaniwi, men and boys were massacred or mutilated, their bodies dumped and burned in large pits. Women and girls were forced to leave homes in order to carry whatever they the nearby village of Anyantam in San Alfonso town in Bulacan province. They were then held at the barangay na Pula or Red House, a red brick mansion that was turned into a very slum where mothers were raped, assaulted, or abused together with their daughters, four of whom were as young as 9 years old. They have waited long enough for justice, Ondiever said, adding she would follow up with the Office of the Office of the President, Philippine Commission on Women, Department of Health, Department of Education, Commission Commission on Higher Education, Department of Human Settlements, and Urban Development and National Historical Commission of the Philippines. Lawyer Virginia or Lawyer Virginia Laxalores Isa Secretary General said the DSWD gave the survivors 10,000 pesos twice and provided educational scholarships to the number of their grandchildren. To municipal DSWD reported putting 8 of the survivors on social pension and facilitated a one-time cash incentive of 100,000 pesos from the provincial government for senior citizens who are 95 years old and above. Lawyer Gilbert Angres of the Center for International Law Center Law said the national government, on top of not establishing an effective nationwide reparation scheme to provide all forms of redress to victims of war crimes, has not helped in ensuring the well-being of the Malaya Lola like projects. According to Angres, the ordeal and struggle of the Malaya Lola have also not been memorized, even as it remains 138 war at Tarlac, 33 of which are in Pampanga. This included preserving the Bahay na Pula, which has been cannibalized for its old wood and steel windows. San Ildefonso Mayor Fernando Galvez Jr., in a letter to Central Law on May 9, said that he had not signed any demolition order for the structure now to be owned by the Ilostorio family. The owner has not placed off-limit signs or security plates from unauthorized entry or unlawful demolition. The fight of the Malaya Lolas has not been made part of the education curriculum in high school in college with the aim of ending sex-based violence and resistance. Terrelo assisted 24 Lolas in 2016 in bringing them complaints to the UN after the Supreme Court refused to help them. The Philippine government has to comply with its treaty obligations, Hontiveros said, referring to the UN. Aside from introducing our proposed resolution number 559 that urges the government to fulfill its obligations, the senator sought the removal of statues honoring the Kamikaze or Japanese suicide pilots. One such statue stands in Malacate City in Pampanga. Hontiveros said that she had joined efforts of calculation behind the Lola's campaign in searching for the Comfort Woman statue, which the government removed from its Roxas Boulevard in Manila in 2018. It was because of the government's removal of the statue that bonded our groups together. We want our advocacy to resonate with every Filipino who believes we never should allow wars of any kind to victimize us again, and who believe that Japan has to pay for the out of cities to our local victims and for our government to recognize, respect, and give survivors the benefits of the right now. The coalition said in a statement. Mayor Carmelo Lascatin Jr. on Tuesday offered a 100,000 peso reward for any information that would help target on beauty pageant candidate Geneva Lopez and her boyfriend, who have been missing for almost 2 weeks. Lopez, former Mutia and Filipinos point candidate who represented Santo Tomas, Pampanga, has been missing since June 21, with his solid boyfriend, co-head. He reportedly on the way to Tapas, Tarlac to check on property when reported missing. The amount offered by Lacatin came after Lopez family barely put up with 250,000 peso reward as they search for their kid. Meanwhile, former Senator Inspector Francisco Dayak Jr., Bureau of Fire Protection Chief in Tapas, told the fire on Tuesday that the people from the birds sports facility were told submitted to the PFP National Headquarters in Quezon City on June 22 yielded negative of minimum flammable substance. We are still waiting for the result of the analysis, which was also submitted to the BFP National Office on June 22. Payek said. The criminal investigation and detection group that vehicle that accompanied the couple in visiting an upland agricultural land at Barangay Armenia in Tarlac City that Lopez was planted by was found abandoned in the village some kilometers away from Armenia. Tayak said that on July 8, they again collected debris from the burned SUV and sent them to the BFFP headquarters for another chemical analysis. The first set of debris was from the driver's side and under the steering wheel. Last Friday, we collected debris from the passenger side and under the radio. Hopefully, we can have the laboratory test result within this week, he said. In a separate police of the Colonel failed to show up. The last time we were able to communicate with him in clear, we were told that they would come here earlier, either yesterday, Monday, or today. Until now, we are still waiting for him, he said. Police have yet to disclose the name of the abandoned registered owner. The Angeles City Police said Lopez and Cohen was in Malabanas village around 1 p.m. on 2.1 to meet with a middleman for money after when that Lopez was buying in Tarlac. On June 22, some 10 hours after the couple and middleman parted ways, the vehicle used by the couple was seen burning along along Road to Angko Road in Barangay Cristo Rey. The vehicle was facing north of the road lane toward Armen. If it was traveling back to Angeles on the other side of the road facing Manarang Center. All right, it is time check. It is 5:45 in the morning, and full edition will return after these messages. We will be back. back to koolNews Early Edition. Let's continue with the headlines now. All right, so let's begin. Let's begin, but let's continue. Let's get a month to go before the opening of the new school year. The Department of Trade and Industry reported on Wednesday that the prices of most school supplies have not gone up since last year. It is latest gabay sa Mili ng school supplies or guide to buying school supplies. The DTI said it recorded no price movements in 68% of stock keeping units or SKUs, a technical term used by stores to identify and categorize specific inventories by brand, product type, and weight. On the other hand, whoops, something just blocked. All right. On the other hand, there was a price decrease in 8% of SKUs, while 5% showed varying increases in prices. A total of 173 SKUs were included in the BDI price guide, up by 56 SKUs compared to last year. I urge consumers to buy school supplies from companies that comply with labeling requirements and use the GABA in shopping. The GABA indicates which SKUs have not increased or have retained their prices, Trade Secretary Alfredo A. Pascal said in a statement. According to the guide, the prices of notebooks range from 11.80 pesos to 52 pesos, while grades 1 to 4 pad paper vary from 9.50 pesos to 61 pesos, compared to between 13.80 pesos and 48.75 pesos for intermediate pad paper. Based on the DTI guide in July 2023, the prices of notebooks back then ranged from 23 to 52 pesos, grade 1 to 4 pad paper from 21 to 28 pesos, and intermediate pad paper from 31 to 48.75 pesos. For this year, crayons are priced from as low as 12 pesos to as high as 65 pesos, with the maximum price seeing a major change from last year's 34 pesos. Additionally, operators and rulers are currently priced from 15 pesos to 69 pesos and from 16 pesos to 29 pesos respectively, compared to last year's 18 pesos to 69 pesos and 22 pesos to 27.75 pesos respectively. The fingerprints of a Chinese boy who arrived in the country in 1999 have matched those of the younger brother of suspended Pampang Tarlac Mayor Alice Guo, Senator Sharon Cajillian was on Wednesday. According to Cajillian, results of the National Bureau of Investigation fingerprint analysts showed that Guo Hicks Dian was the same person as Wesley Love Guo, one of Guo's three siblings. At the same time, NBI Director Jimmy San Diego said the Bureau was puzzled by the discovery of a third Alex Duo who sought and obtained clearance from the MBI in Project 8 Quezon City in 2005. The woman had the same birthday and birthplace as the mayor, but the fingerprints did not match and the indicated address did not exist. San Diego offered our web for any information on the whereabouts of the third Alex Duo to help them with their investigation. Someone might have instructed her to get the clearance and use the name of Alice Cruel, Ethan. The suspended mayor applied for an MBI clearance in 2021, and her fingerprints were found to be a match for the alien fingerprint records of a Chinese national named Luo Huaping, which were taken in 2006. This confirms speculations that the Pampang person was a Chinese citizen. San Diego, however, clarified that the discovery of the third Alastor would not affect the findings that the Bamba mayor and Guo Huaping were the same person. Whatever the result, it will not affect the action of the Commission on Elections and Senate, he said. Alfred Kahaniding, NBI, the Kobe division chief, said that fingerprints were an infallible means of identification. It is incapable of error. It is an absolute means of identification. No two prints of the reported or the neighboring fingers of the same person are ever found to be identical, Hunting said. As for the Tarlac mayor's brother, challenged the NBI obtained Siang Dian's fingerprints from the records of the Board of Investors, while those of Wesley were taken from the NBI's biometric records. Guo Xing Dian is Wesley Del Guo, Bachelian said in a statement. This again demonstrates that the legal registration process was abused by the Guo family to falsely that they are Filipinos. Like the suspended Tarlac mayor, Yang had a Chinese passport and an application for a special investigations and visa, copies of which were shared by Hungarian with media. He also showed Wesley's Philippine passport, which was issued by the Department of Foreign Affairs in Manila, suggesting violation of Republic Act number 8239 or the Philippine Passport Act of 1996. Calchilo said that records from the POI revealed that Jiang Lian first entered the country in 1999 as the dependent son of Chinese citizen Li Wenyi. Lin, who was listed as an incorporator of several companies owned by the Guos, was the mayor's real birth mother. Calchilo claimed earlier based on documents he secured. Also on Wednesday, Commission on Elections Commonwealth Judge Erwin Garcia said the Go body would ask the NBI for the evidence to gather on the true identity of the mayor. We will officially request for the report and findings about the fingerprint examinations and such other examinations that the NBI is conducting so that we can use these evidence in building up a case, if any, Garcia said in a press conference with San Diego after a meeting at the Comelec Central Office in Manila. Garcia said that misrepresentations made in a certificate of candidacy constitute an election offense punishable by 3 to 6 years in jail under the Omnibus Election Code. The candidate may also be charged with falsification and perjury since the COC was made under oath. A total of 88 animals have been slaughtered in Manicurco province as the government seeks to prevent the spread of Toy fever, also known as Q fever, a disease that can affect both humans and animals. Local authorities killed in the disposed of 81 goats and 7 cattle, and 6 adults and 1 calf from a farm in Barangay Cruz Town, according to the news report to the World Organization for Animal Health. The reports also said that 3 other goats died because of the disease. The Philippines report to WA, or WH, or World Organization for Animal Health, noted that clinical signs were observed in some of the goats as early as February. But the presence of Q fever in the country was confirmed only on June 19 based on the results of tests conducted by the Philippine Carabaho Center. Control measures, the report said, have already been applied, including disinfection, movement control, quarantine, screening, a social disposal of car- carcasses, byproducts and waste, and stamping out while surveillance within and outside the resources would be carried out. It added that the animals consisted of 67 imported Anglo-Nubian goats, 27 does for female goats, and 10 bucks for male goats, and 7 kids. The Bureau of Animal Industry earlier confirmed the presence of fever in the country, but said the outbreak was controlled. Affected goats have been depopulated, and tracing of potentially infected animals is ongoing to prevent the spread of fever. Christian Tatuikan, officer in charge of the BAI National Veterinary Quarantine Services Division, said in the press conference last month. We will continue to monitor the situation closely and help the necessary action to control the cases, he added. The Department of Agriculture has also temporarily banned the importation of live goats from the United States after the latter confirmed two fever cases in its territory last month, making it the first officially confirmed case in imported goats. According to the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, fever fever is caused by a bacteria called Coxiella burnetii that affects both humans and animals. A person may catch the disease from an infected animal through contaminated milk or by handling the fetus, placenta, or fluids from an infected animal which had given birth. On the 4th of July, the United States Independence Day and Philippine American Friendship Day, we look back on what the U.S. Philippine partnership has achieved over the past 12 months. We have reached incredible milestones together as friends, partners, and allies, setting a whole agenda to build a more secure and prosperous future for our people. The trilateral leaders summit among U.S. President Joe Biden, the Marcos, and Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida in Washington was a historic moment in a year of exceptional achievements. The leaders committed to advancing the security and prosperity of all three nations in the Pacific region and work through cooperation on economic growth, critical technologies, the digital economy, climate and clean energy, infrastructure, and peace and security. They announced the Luzon Economic Corridor under the Partnership for Global Infrastructure and Investment and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Investment. They announced the Luzon Economic Corridor under the Partnership for Global Infrastructure Investment and the Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Investment Accelerator, which will support transformative public and private investments to facilitate Batangas, home to 40% of the Philippines' population and 50% of its economic activity. The three leaders also announced $8 billion for open radio access network trials that will pave the way for more affordable and secure communications. As Mr. Marco has said, economic security is national security. Our commitment to bring greater foreign investment to the Philippines is multifaceted. In March, U.S. Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo led the first presidential trade and investment mission to the Philippines, where U.S. firms announced more than $1 billion in investment in each sector and new partnerships to help develop a future-ready Philippine workforce. We built on these engagements during the Indo-Pacific Business Forum in Manila, where the U.S. Trade and Department and I'm sorry, where the U.S. Trade and Development Agency awarded company to the Filipino company to deliver affordable, high-quality internet connectivity to underserved communities in the Philippines. We are also we are also creating investment in the Philippines with the introduction of new tools and resources. Later this year, the U.S. Development Finance Corp plans to open a Manila office with fifth location in the Indo-Pacific region. This new office underscores DXC's growing focus on the Philippines in critical sectors such as renewable energy, agriculture, critical minerals, and infrastructure. The Millennium Challenge Corp returned to the Philippines this year and now has a team on the ground to co-develop the transport program. This program identifies key constraints to economic growth and creates favorable conditions for new investments from the private sector and development partners. The United States is committed to supporting the Philippines' clean energy transition. Last November, at the Asia Pacific Economic Cooperation Leaders Meeting in San Francisco, Secretaries Rafael Lotila and Anthony Blinken signed a severe nuclear cooperation agreement, or 123 agreement, facilitating U.S. Philippine cooperation to responsibly develop a peaceful, sustainable nuclear energy program. The Philippines Department of Energy and the Philippine American Educational Foundation are creating scholarships and academic exchanges on nuclear power and clean energy, and the U.S. Agency for International Development is partnering with the DOE to develop a comprehensive civil nuclear energy policy. USAID partner with the Philippine government to launch its first and green energy audition program, in which private sector companies compete to offer the most affordable price to supply renewable energy to the grid, driving billions of dollars in investments and creating renewable energy capacity by 64% by 2026. The U.S. Department of State Energy also launched the energy policy dialogue to deepen cooperation in this field. Our military alliance continues to flourish. We have improved our bilateral exercises and established new ways to work together to address the 21st century security challenges, such as hyper defense. We have invigorated our maritime cooperation, conducting joint naval engagement alongside Australia, China, France, and Japan. The United States continues to expand funding to help modernize the armed forces of the Philippines. Undermining all these important efforts are close and meaningful bonds of friendship and family ties that form not only the foundation upon which our relations are based, but a springboard for reaching new heights in the future. On this day last year, I held a positive momentum in U.S. Philippine relations. Since then, that momentum has circulated significantly. As Secretary Blinken described it during his most recent visit to Manila, the U.S. Philippine relationship is on hyperdrive and has never been stronger. Let's see what we can accomplish in the next 12 months. All right, give me a second. So, loading. There is. And the powerful U.S. range missile system, which saw action in recent large-scale military exercises with the Filipino and American troops, remains in the Philippines but will be shipped out of the country this September, according to the Philippine military official. The mid-range capability, the system is still in the country. It was used during the last training with the Army Artillery Regiment last June 27. Colonel Louis Damala, the Philippine Army's spokesperson, said in a message to the Inquirer on Wednesday. As planned, it will be shipped out of the country by September. Its capability was used only for training purposes, according to the Mala. The ground-based missile system, which is capable of carrying Tomahawk and SM-6 missiles, is at an undisclosed area in northern Luzon, he added. The missile system arrived in the country on April 11. American forces have access to several Philippine military bases in Luzon under the 2014 Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement. These exercises are the naval base Camilo Auxias in Santa Ana, Cagayan, Lalo Airport in Lalo, Cagayan, Malchor de la Cruz in Camu, Isabela, Basa Air Base and Pampanga Fort Magsaysay in Nova Ecija, and Balabac Island and Antonio Bautista Air Base in Palawan. The agreement between Manila and Washington allowed American troops to be rotated for extended stays in the country. The United States may also build and operate facilities in local base for both U.S. and Philippines. The MRC was used during the Balataan shoulder-to-shoulder war games conducted by the Philippines and the United States, able to make and during the Salaknip showed in Ilocano, another small exercise between the armies of the security allies. In April this year, the U.S. Army said the arrival of the MRC Osaka Typhoon was a landmark deployment that marks a significant milestone for the new capability while enhancing interoperability, readiness, and defense capabilities in the coordination with the armed forces of the Philippines. In a statement for the following month, Chinese Defense Minister Qiu Guian that the United States and the Philippines brought huge risk of war into the region with the deployment of the missile system in the country. On Friday last week, President Vladimir Putin said Russia would resume production of intermediate and shorter range nuclear capable missiles, citing the U.S. deployment of mid range missile systems in the Philippines. Today, it is known that the United States not only produces these missile systems, but has already brought them to Europe for exercises to Denmark. Quite recently, it was announced that they are in the Philippines. Putin said in a report by Reuters. Apparently, we needed to start manufacturing these smart systems and then, based on the actual situation, make decisions about where, if necessary, to ensure our safety to place them. He added. Colonel Francisco Margaret Padilla, spokesperson of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, did not comment on the issue when asked by reporters on Tuesday. This is not a matter for the AFP to comment on. We defer this to our higher agencies, Padilla to reporters on Tuesday. As far as the AFP is concerned, it was used during Balikatan and other exercises. As to its further disposition that would be unanswered by higher authorities, higher levels from the AFP, she added. All right, it is 6:15 in the morning, and we will have more headlines coming up on News early edition. Don't go anywhere. Your morning headlines continues after this. Welcome back to koolNews Early Edition. Let's continue with the headlines where we are right now. All right. Senator Nancy Binay will of the Senate inquiry on the construction of the new Senate building in the big city after turning boards with Senator Alan Peter Catayano on Wednesday. Catayano, Senate Committee on Accounts Chair, launched an inquiry after Senate President Francis Escudero decided to suspend the project, citing the surge in the building's price tag from 8.9 billion pesos to 23.3 billion pesos. Binay, who was former chair of the panel, had supervised the project, maintained the construction cost reached, has reached only 21 billion dollars. Not dollars, I'm sorry, pesos. You have been going around saying my numbers are incorrect. So if they're wrong, correct it. But the people who gave us these numbers for your stuff at the end of the day. Do you want to help you, or do you just want to disrupt it? What's your intention of disrupting this hearing? It's 0.3 billion pesos total. He added, saying the amount included the trifling opposition. Opposition. Biden, B9 said he only wanted the new building to be completed. The two continued arguing until B9 asked public works undersecretary Emil Tadin if there was any mention for 20 billion pesos in the documents for the new building's cost. There is none, Tadin said. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I made my point. There's no such as 23 billion pesos in DPWH. Thank you, Mr. Chair, B9 said. She then walked of the room while Cadena was calling for order. Earlier, he accused her of hitting reporters with pre-planned questions in an attempt to link the issue to the territorial dispute between Taguig and Makati cities. Taguig is the Katianos political bailiwick, while Makati is the Binan's. The Supreme Court declared with penalty in 2022 that 10 Empo Congress in Makati City were under the jurisdiction of Taguig. Why would I give questions to the media, Mr. Chairman? That's something you will do, giving questions to the media. Excuse me, B9 told Katiana. On Tuesday, she said she said she believed the questions over the news to the building had something to do with the territorial dispute, especially since she was running for Makati mayor next year. I'll go back to 2015. This kind of system should not be repeated, where the Senate is used for personal ambition on the NETA. I should be prepared. It's actually given me a feeling of deja vu, being added, apparently referring to the year when the Senate investigated alleged irregularities in the Makati City Hall parking building. B9 also said that a fellow senator, whom she refused to name, was starting intrigue about her and her blog in connection with the news in the building. You have been going around radio stations saying some senator was stabbing you in the back. Why don't you file attempted murder? Who's stabbing you in the back? I don't know anything about that, said Catiano. Did I say it's Alan Peter Catiano? You know what they say? The one who reacts is probably guilty? Dina replied. Alright, give me a second. There we go. Alright. The Chinese vessel known as the Monster, so-called for being the largest Coast Guard ship in the world, re-entered the country's exclusive economic zone on Wednesday morning. What a retired Philippine Navy officer said was Beijing's way of sending a fresh message to Manila that it almost the entire South China Sea. Posting about the sighting on X, United States maritime expert Rick Powell said the 165-meter-long China Coast Guard ship with boat number not 5901 returned for another intrusive patrol into the EEZ and joined another 102-meter-long CCG craft with boat number 5203 at Ayutthaya Sagatomo Shoal. The latest sighting coincided with and could put to the test pronouncements made on the same day by Filipino and Chinese officials about new efforts to de-escalate tensions in the West Philippine Sea, especially after the June 17 confrontation that saw 9 ex-whaling CCG personnel surrounding a Philippine Navy mission to the shoal, boarding, boarding and damaging the latter's rubber boats, taking some firearms, and causing one Filipino sailor to lose a thumb as a result of a high-speed rampage. More than 2 weeks after the encounter, Undersecretary Teresa Lazaro of the Department of Foreign Affairs and Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs Vice Minister Xiang Dong met in Manila for the ninth Beijing-Manila bilateral consultation mechanism on the South China Sea on July 1. The ministers of both countries agreed to improve dialogue and cooperation, particularly between their respective coast guards, the Chinese embassy in Manila said on Wednesday. In its own statement on the meeting issued on Tuesday, the DFA said the sides affirmed their commitment to de-escalate tensions without breaches to their respective positions. There was substantial progress on developing measures to manage the situation area. The two sides continue discussions on maritime cooperation between their respective Coast Guard authorities, including the possible assumption of the Joint Coast Guard Committee. Noting recent incidents in South China Sea, both sides recommends that there is a need to restore trust, to build confidence, and create conditions conducive to productive dialogue and interaction, the DFA added. The BCM is a diplomatic mechanism formed to address issues relating to the maritime conflict in the South China Sea, where Beijing's sweeping tend to Manila's 370-kilometer EEZ on the western side of the Philippine archipelago. The discussion to revive the JCGC, a body formed in 2016 in the early part of the Duterte administration, off from the exchanges in the BSCM held in Shanghai in January. But underlying the new overtures for dialogue are the old hardline positions of both countries. The Chinese side urges the Philippine side to stop maritime provocation at once, honestly abide by the provisions of the Declaration on the conduct of parties in the Search and Sea, return to the right track of properly handling through dialogue and consultation, worthy managed and Ren Zhao, the Chinese for Icon Show, with the Chinese side promoting the easy cooling down of the maritime situation and stabilize China and Philippine relations from further deterioration. The Chinese embassy stated, but Solano in the DFA statement maintained that the Philippines enjoys sovereign rights in the EEZ as upheld by the 2023 Bureau ruling, which avoided China's expansionist claims for having no basis in international law. In her comments, Undersecretary Lazaro underscored to her counterpart that the Philippines will be relentless in protecting its interests and upholding its sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction in the West Philippine Sea, the department said. According to Powell, as of 2:30 p.m. on Wednesday, CPG 5091 was seen heading toward Escoda Shoal or Sabina Shoal, where a Philippine Coast Guard vessel, WP Teresa Bangua, has been stationed since May in response to the presence of Chinese maritime military and reported reclamation activities. Powell is the director of Sealight, a program of Stanford University's Hodian Knox Center for National Security Innovation that tracks Chinese security activities in the West Philippines. Last week, the monster passed by the Martians near Mare, the Philippine military outpost, and IUPN, and came as close as 63 kilometers or 22 nautical miles from the coastal town of El Nido in Palawan. Comarere Varela, the PCG spokesperson for the West Philippine Sea, earlier said 6G movies on June 17 directly and the territorial waters of the Philippine occupied features of Arola and Pagasa, violating our territorial Arilla at the 12,000-ton CCG ship also passed by Escoda and Padulacho, Goyani, and Union, and the Tinangan Reef in the West Philippine Sea last week. The presence of the CCG 901 is obviously a show to flatly to convey the message that our exclusive economic zone is theirs. Retired Philippine Navy Admiral Romel Duong at the Ateneo School of Governmental Inquiry on Wednesday. Ong said the CCG ships returned to the EEC on Wednesday was perfectly timed to coincide with the 9th p.m., as well as with further decans for Minister Archbishop Paul Kalakher in Manila. The timing of the Vatican representative to Manila with a message for a peaceful resolution of the SCS issue is also significant, considering its current engagement with the Chinese Communist Party on matters involving Catholics in May China is set. We also are seeing an uptick in anti-war narratives in social media is posed by local political personalities on noted. Taken all together, they are tending to convince the Philippine government to de-escalate tension in West Philippine Sea in the. And now for the international headlines. Joe Biden is absolutely not pulling out of the White House race, the spokeswoman said Wednesday as pressure mounted on the president following his disastrous debate performance against Donald Trump. Panic has gripped Democrats in the wake of last week's debate, and internal rumblings about finding a replacement candidate before November's election have been amplified by polls showing Trump extending his lead. The New York Times and CNN reported that Biden, 81, had acknowledged a key ally that his re-election bid was on the night if he failed to quickly reassure the public that he was still up for to the job. White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre rejected those reports outright and insisted Biden had absolutely no intention of withdrawing as a Democratic nominee. The president is clear-eyed and he is staying in the race, she told reporters. Biden conceded in the call with campaign and correspondents that his incoherent, unfocused answers against Trump had dimension, multiple media outlets reported, but he insisted he was in the race for the long haul. Let me say this as clear as I possibly can, as simply as and straightforward as I can. I'm running, no one's pushing me out. I am not leaving. I am in this race to the end, and we're going to win. The veteran Democrats said, according to Politico. The Biden camp- campaign has been desperate to reassure Democratic donors, and voters that the president's performance against Trump was a one-off and not a fatal blow to his hopes of a second term. But party figures have voiced argument over what they see as equal collection and excuses from the president and his aides. In Congress, lawmakers see the Democratic prospect of taking over the House of Representatives hanging on to the Senate and returning to the White House, slipping away. The concern was compounded by a New York Times poll conducted after the debate that showed Thomas with his biggest lead ever over Biden, 49% to 40% of likely voters. It wasn't until Wednesday, 6 days after the debate, that Biden completed a run of calls with Democratic congressional leaders and staffers have been voicing consternation over the electoral pace of the outreach. We are getting to the point where we may not have been the debate that did him in, but the aftermath of how they have handled it. A senior Democratic operative told Washington political outlet Axios. Aware of growing alarm in the party's grassroots, Biden hits the swing states of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania in the coming days. He may be tested on his ability to think on his feet and articulate on a coherent vision when he sits with ABC News on Friday for his first television interview since the debate. The president has cited FAQ as a new explanation for his poor debate showing, saying that he had been unwise to travel around the world a couple of times before the debate. But he had been back in the United States for nearly 2 weeks and spent 2 days relaxing and six preparing for the debate. The Times said people who have interacted with the president had found that his metaphockiness was growing more frequent, more pronounced, and more worrisome. Democratic lawmakers have begun to go public with their doubts, with two saying Tuesday they expected Biden to lose to Trump in November, and another pair calling for him to quit the White House race. Arizona Congressman Rui Java became the second sitting Democrat to call on Biden to drop out. If he's the candidate, I'm going to support him, but I think that this is an opportunity to look elsewhere, Rui Java said, according to the Times. Industry where the president grew up in Scranton, Pennsylvania. There was sympathy for Biden, but no campaign signs for either candidate. I was embarrassed for him. I didn't. I felt he didn't feel well, and he probably should have gone on the stage," said grandmother, TVIS, age of 73. All right, it is 6:41 in the morning, and we will have more morning headlines from newscast right here on koolNews Early Edition. So stick around, people. We will be right back. to Cool News Early Edition. Okay, so let's see if we have anyone. If we do, so let's get into that right now. Continuing with our international headlines, thousands of people have been ordered to evacuate as a wildfire rages out of control in Northern California, with the region gripped by an exceptionally dangerous heat wave that is making conditions worse. More than 3,000 acres or 1,200 acres of grass and woodland have been consumed since Tuesday when the blaze started just outside Coralville, with authorities telling 30,000 people to leave the area. The town near the state capital of Sacramento is just 20 miles or 38 kilometers from Paradise, a community that was raised in 2018 by the deadliest fire in state history, in which 85 people perished. Garrett Estolon, fire chief of Butte County, said the area was under a so-called red flag warning. The conditions out there that are in our counties this summer are much different than we have experienced the two last summers, Tito reported. The fields are very dense, brush is dry, and as you can see, any wind will move a fire out very quickly. Climate scientists say the western US is undergoing a decades-long arctification as weather patterns change, at least in part because of human-caused global warming. California suffered around 20 years of drought, but the last 2 years were relatively mild, with near record amounts of rain that filled the reservoirs and sparked furious growth in forests and grasslands. However, 2024 is shaping up to be a hot and dry year, and the flora is rapidly drying out, creating a plenty of fuel for the wildfires. I mean wildfires are a normal part of the ecosystem's natural cycle. The conditions have left officials warning of potentially devastating places waiting to happen, especially if people are careless or negligent with fireworks over the upcoming July 4th Independence Day holiday. We have four fires within the last couple of weeks. This is a bad fire season that both the county chief or Sheriff Corey Honia. The last thing we need is somebody who's purchased fireworks from a local fire stand going out and doing something stupid. Don't be an idiot. On Wednesday, around 400 firefighters were attacking the flames on the ground with heavy machinery and by air with planes and helicopters. Jason said that equipment and personnel were arriving from other jurisdictions to reinforce operations. The National Weather Service warned that temperatures were expected to remain very high, reaching to 115 Fahrenheit or 46 Celsius in, some spots over the coming days. An exceptionally dangerous situation is on the way as we enter a potentially deadly, historic, and prolonged heat event. The service wrote on social media. I'm not sure if I've, I'm not sure if I have covered that already before. Yeah, I'm not really sure about it. Okay, I have not covered that, so looks like that's a new headline. So yeah, that's might be the last headline of today's morning headlines, and then we will be done. All right. Only the legal spouse and illegitimate children of the deceased seafarer are entitled to benefits under his Philippine Overseas Employment Administration contract, the Supreme Court has ruled. In an April 3 decision made public only on Tuesday, the High Court's Third Division ordered the release of 4.5 million pesos in debt benefits due to deceased seafarer Gabrito Macalino's heirs, including his long-estranged legal spouse. Faced with the uncommon question of who between the long-estranged legal spouse and the subsequent spouse by a big Gama's marriage may claim rights to the compensation and benefits for the seafarers that the court finds that the surviving lieutenants will may receive the proceeds of the death benefits alongside the deceased spouse's children from both marriages, except in a 44-page decision penned by Associate Justice and John Oigoa. Based on records, Macalinano married Serena in 1981 and had one child, Cindy, but the couple separated after 4 years. In 1990, while he was still married to Serena Macalino, he married Alenita and had two children with her. 2 years later, Serena also married Rene Heritage. Alita and Macalino lived together until he died in 2015 on board the vessel of Excel Marine Code Ltd. First Shipping Corp. First Shipping Corp. His death benefits amounted to 4.5 million. In 2016, Serena and Cindy filed a petition for the settlement of his estate, which included as a secondary issue the declaration of nullity of Macalino and Alenita's marriage before a regional trial. The RTC ruled the death benefits formed part of the Siemens estate and that under POEA Memorandum Circular Number 10, Series of 2010, shall be divided among the beneficiaries in accordance with the rules on succession. It also held that while Alenita was the nominated beneficiary, she was not entitled to his death benefits as their marriage was bigamous and void, a decision affirmed by the Court of Appeals. The High Court, meanwhile, referred to the POEA memorandum in determining the division of the proceeds from the benefits, while the beneficiaries were identified according to the rules of compulsory and in the state succession. Only Serena and all three of Perito's children may receive the subtract death benefits. Alenita is not a legal beneficiary, is said. And finally, the last international hotline, the one that I just covered. Oh, I mean, the one that I covered earlier. What I just read was the national hotline. By the way, I forgot to say that. My bad. But anyways, this will be the last international headline for today, and we will be wrapping up. Powerful Ukraine drones burned along Chamakigas started caught on Wednesday, bothering the island with dangerous winds and sea surge after leaving a trail of destruction and ending 7 people dead in the Caribbean. The eye of the category for Ukraine has not yet reached this for Jamaica, but in the coming hours, and is expected to approach or even make landfall in the Cayman Islands overnight before moving onward to Mexico. Yucatan Peninsula, the U.S. National Ukraine Congress. And that will be it for koolNews Early Edition. As always, thank you so much for your trust and continued support right here on koolNews Early Edition. And you can send a news clip to us at tvh.philippines.news at gmail.com. Until then, I am Aster, and this has been koolNews Early Edition. And we will see you later for more headlines at 11 a.m. Goodbye for now, and good morning.